अर्थांतरम आशंकितव्यम। So Brahmacha. Now what's the meaning of the word Brahma? Since the word Brahma has several meanings, therefore now we must first settle what is the meaning of Brahma that is intended by Sutrakara. Brahmacha Vakshamana Lakshanam. Brahma is that of which Lakshana or the characteristic is going to be Vakshamana, stated in the very next sutra. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Thereafter, therefore, they desire to know Brahman or deliberation upon Brahman. Next question is, Kin Tad Brahma? What's the nature of that Brahman upon which deliberation is performed? Then Sutrakara says, Janmad Yasya Yataha. Second sutra is Yataha. Brahman is that from which Asya Jagataha Janmadi. So Brahma is that from which there is this Janma and Sthiti and Laya of this entire creation. So Brahma is there which is Adhishthanam or the substratum of the whole creation, which is the source of the creation, that which sustains the creation, unto which the creation resolves back. That is Brahman, which is Jagat Karanam. This is how Sutrakara himself gives the definition of Brahman. How do you say that? How do you say that Brahma is Jagat Karanam? Shastra Yonitvat. Because that's what the Shastra says. Or how do you say that Brahma can become Jagat Karanam? Shastra Yonitvat. Because Brahma is a very yoni or the source of Shastra. So we say that Brahma is the cause. Is there Brahma? How do you say there is Brahma? And how do you say Brahman is the cause of the creation? Shastra Yonitvat. Because Shastra is a yoni or pramanam for that. And Shastra says, Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayante visamvishandi, tad vijijñāsasva, tad brahmeti. But how can Brahma become the cause of the creation? Shastra yonitvat. Because it is yoni or the very source of Shastra. So the sutra Shastra yonitvat, the third sutra, is explained two ways. So Shastram yonihi, yasyadat Shastra yoni, and Shastrasya yonihi. Shastra yoni. So Shastra is the yoni or the pramanam for which, or that which is yoni or the very source of Shastra. So that which is source of Vedas is Sarvajñam. Veda is that which contains everything in it. And if Brahman or God is the very source of Veda, in that case Brahman must be omniscient. And that which is Sarvajña, so Jagat Karana must be Sarvasya Jnata Sarvajña. So Jagat Karana must be Sarvajñam. So Brahma is Sarvajñam, therefore it properly can be the cause of this creation. And we say that Brahma is the cause of creation because Shastra says that. Then how do we say that Shastra says that? That Brahma alone is the cause of creation. We say Shastra says Pradhanam is the cause of creation. Somebody says atoms are the cause of creation. How do you say Brahma is cause of creation? Tattu Samanvayat. Because the Shastra has Samanvaya, or they only have one meaning. Namely, Brahma as the very cause of the creation or the truth of this creation. So Brahman is the very subject matter of the entire Shastra. And there is Samanvaya, there is a concurrence. So all this whole Shastra concurs in this particular Vishaya, in this particular theme, that Brahma is the Jagat Karanam or the cause of creation. Meaning the truth of the creation. Cause always is the truth of the effect. If Brahman is the cause of everything, Brahman becomes what? The truth or the truth of everything. And that is where there is a concurrence of the entire Shastra. Therefore we say. This is how the whole sutra, the Brahma Sutra proceeds. How do we say that? We say that Pradhanam is the cause. He says no. That other subsequent discussion goes on, But what should we understand by the word Brahma? Brahman is that of which the Lakshana or the definition is given in the second sutra, Janmad Yasyataha. Brahman is that which is the cause of the creation. Like the clay is the cause of the pot. Because from the clay the pot comes. By the clay the pot is sustained. Under the clay the pot goes back and becomes one. And so also Brahman is presented as the Upadana Karanam or the very material cause. And also Yataha, Yatova, that also shows the Nimitta Karanam. So Brahman is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of the creation, and that is what is meant by the word Brahma, and not something else. Atah eva na Brahma Shabdasya Jatyadi Arthantaram Ashankitavyam. Says Ratna Prabha, no, ब्रह्म क्षत्रमिदं ब्रह्म आयाति ब्रह्म स्वयंभूः ब्रह्म प्रजापति इति श्रुतिषु लोके च ब्राह्मणत्व जातौ जीवे वेदे कमलासने च ब्रह्म शब्दः प्रयुज्यते इति आशंक्याः. ब्रह्म क्षत्रम. So in that one, Brahma means, so says that Brahma Kshatra means what? Brahma is their jati. So Brahma also means Brahmana, jati. Says Purnanandiya, Brahma Kshatram idyatra Brahma Shabdena Brahmana jati uchyate. That's a statement of the Veda someplace. Brahma Kshatram, idam Brahma ayati, Brahma Swayambhuhu. Now Bhashyastha Adi Shabdartham Darshayati Idam Brahma iti. Idam Brahma ayati. When it says Atra Brahma Shabdena Jivaha Uchyate. So in that particular statement there in the Shruti, Idam Brahma ayati. There the Shruti means Jiva by the word Brahma. Then Brahma Swayambhuhu. When we say so Brahmanatva Jatau Brahma Kshatram, there word Brahma is in Brahmanatva Jatihi. Idam Brahma ayati, there Brahma is Jive. Brahma Swayambhuhu. That Brahma is Swayambhu, something that manifests itself. So Vedas are supposed to be those which manifest themselves. And so there the word Brahma is understood as Veda. Brahma Prajapati. Brahma is Prajapati. So when the word Brahma is used for Prajapati, what does it mean? Kamalasana means Brahmaji. So Brahmaji is one meaning of word Brahma. Veda is another meaning of word Brahma. Jiva is third meaning of word Brahma. Brahmana Jati is the fourth meaning of word Brahma. And Pranava also is another Brahma, So that Brahma also means Omkara or Pranava. Thus Brahma has so many meanings. So Aksharam Brahma, no, what is it? Om Ityeka Aksharam Brahma. There, that Brahma is Eka Aksharam means Omkara is the meaning of the word Brahma there. This word Brahma is employed in several senses. Which is a sense in which the word Brahma is applicable here? Ataheva so Bhashyakara said, Na Brahma Shabdasya Jatyadi Arthantaram Ashankitavyam. Says Brahma is presented by the Sutrakara himself as Jagat Karanam. So says Jagat Karanatva Lakshana Pratibadaka Sutra Asangatya Prasangad Eva Ityartha. If you explain the word Brahma as Brahmana Jati, the next sutra says Brahma is that which is Jagat Karanam. You cannot say that Brahmana is Jagat Karanam. Or even Veda is Jagat Karanam. Or as Prajapati is Jagat Karanam. Because Prajapati becomes Jagat Karanam or Brahmaji creates on account of the strength and the knowledge supplied to Brahmaji also by someone. So in the ultimate sense, what is Jagat Karanam, the cause of the creation? Brahma. That is Ishvara. And so, therefore, since Brahma means Ishvara, alone can be Jagat Karanam, therefore the word Brahma has to mean Param Brahma and not Brahmana Jati or any other one. Jagat Karanatva Lakshana Pratipadaka Sutra Asangatya Prasangat. There will be no Sangati, there will be no concurrence with the sutra, second sutra, which presents Brahma as Jagat Karanam, and therefore we say that Brahma only should mean Jagat Karanam Brahma and not Brahmana Jati, etc. Chatyado Jagat Karanatva Sambhavena Purvottar Virodhat Brahma Shabdasya Na Jatyadhyarthakatvam iti Pariharartha. So, otherwise, if you interpret the word Brahma in that sense, it will not agree. There will not be agreement between the second sutra and the meaning of this word. Now, Brahmana Jignasa, Brahma Jignasa. Another discussion. So, alright, you have settled now that Brahma is Jagat Karanam Brahma and Brahma Jignasa is Brahmana Jignasa. Now, Shashti also, the Brahmana is sixth case. Now, that also can be employed in two ways, at least. One is in different ways, different vibhaktis are employed, but here the question is whether Brahmana is, says Ratnava Vrutyandare Sheshe Shasthiti Uktam Dushayati. Since again Vrutti, the Brahma Sutra Vrutti obtains, meaning some commentary, brief commentary is there on Brahma Sutra, where that commentator has explained the word All right, expression Brahma Jignasa as Brahmana Jignasa. Somebody said Brahmane Jignasa. Now somebody says Brahmana Jignasa, all right, but that sixth case is interpreted as Shashti, Sheshe Shashti. Brahmana iti. What is Sheshe? Sambandha Samanyam Shesha. Sambandha means relation. So when you say Brahmana Jignasa, where the sixth case is in the sense of relation, then it is Jignasa pertaining to Brahma. Jignasa pertaining to Brahma. Not necessarily Jignasa having Brahma as the object, but Jignasa pertaining to Brahma or Vichara pertaining to Brahma. Not Vichara of Brahma, but Vichara pertaining to Brahma. When you say Vichara of Brahma means then Brahma becomes the object of Vichara. When you say Vichara pertaining to Brahma, then something else becomes the object of Vichara. So what is the direct object of Vichara? That person says, that commentator, that Brahmana Jignasa should, that sixth case Brahmana should be explained as Sheshe Shashti. Sambandha Samanyam Sheshaha. The general Sambandha in general is called Sheshaha. Shesha and Sheshi. Sambandha and Sambandhi, that's how it works. So Vrutyantare Prachina Vyakhyan ityartha Sambandha Samanyam iti Sambandhatva Vishishtaha Sambandha ityartha. Sambandha Matra iti Avad. Sambandha as such, without any qualification of what kind of relationship. When you say Karmani, then sixth case also is employed in the sense of Karma, in the sense of object. Object also is Sambandha, but a particular Sambandha. And this Shesha is general Sambandha. Now, how that cannot be, that Bhashyakara explains further. Says, Brahmana heti Shashti Karmani Shashti Na Sheshe Jignasya Apekshatva Jignasayaha Jignasyantara Anirdeshacha Brahmana iti Karmani Shashti. Bhashyakara says that sixth case should be in the sense of karma. Karma here means object. So Brahma Jignasa or Brahma Vichara. And that or Jignasa also, Brahma Jignasa or Brahma Vichara. So Jignasa of which the object is Brahman, or Vichara or deliberation of which object is Brahma. Deliberation upon Brahman or desire of Brahma. So therefore it should be object of desire or object of deliberation. So that sixth case, in English also, even though we use sixth case, we mean in the sense of object. We say knowledge of Gita. So when we say knowledge of Gita means Gita becomes the object of knowledge. Gita is not a person there. If Gita is a person, then knowledge of Gita would be Gita's knowledge. But when Gita is a Grantha, in that case knowledge of Gita means knowledge for which Gita is the subject matter. You understand? So in the sense of possession also it can be there. When you say Gita's knowledge where Gita is a person, then it is sense of possessive. But when Gita's knowledge where Gita is Grantha, in that case knowledge of which Gita is the subject matter. In that case it is objective case. So all these differences we should know, and we do employ these expressions, and if you don't understand the expression properly, then Gita's knowledge, when you say, somebody may think that Gita is a person or something like that. But then when you say Gita is Grantha, then knowledge becomes Gita becomes the subject matter of that knowledge. Similarly here also, Brahmana Jignasa, Brahma Jignasa, or Brahma should become the object of Jignasa or object of Vichara. Na Sheshe, not Jignasa pertaining to Brahma or Vichara pertaining to Brahma, but Vichara directly of Brahman. When you say Vichara pertaining to Brahman, then Vichara of something else and Brahma becomes indirectly inquired. When you say Vichara of Brahman, then directly there is a Vichara of Brahman. This is the difference between the two, which difference is really brought out here. Says Ratnaprabha, Jignasa idyatra san pratyavachyayaha ichchayaha jnanam karma. So what is Jignasa? Jnatum ichcha, Jignasa. The root there is Jna. Jna means to know. To that san pratyaya is applied. San pratyaya is actually sa pratyaya. And then whenever the san pratyaya is applied, then there is what we call abhyasa or duplication. And so this is desiderative noun. So jna becomes jnagnya, and jagnya and jignya. And then jignyas, that becomes the verb there. Jignyas means the desire to know. So, and then from that you make the noun, make jignyasa, and make it striling, make it jignyasa. So from the root jna, we make another root called jignyas, meaning the desire to know. And then that we add this pratyaya, up pratyaya it is called, becomes a noun jignyasa. And then to make a striling, you again apply ap pratyaya, becomes jignyasa. So jignyasa becomes a noun. The meaning is jnatum ichcha jignyasa. Desire to know is jignyasa. So jignyasa idyatra san pratyaya vachyayaha ichchayaha jnanam karma. That san pratyaya, that jna, when you apply san pratyaya or sakar, sa pratyaya there, then what happens? The meaning there is ichcha. Like mumuksha, there much is the dhatu. And there also the abhyasa happens there. Mu becomes mumu, so mumuch. And sa becomes mumuksh. And there also apply a pratyaya, becomes mumuksha. So bhubuksha, mumuksha, jignyasa, bhutsa, etc. So bhoktumichcha, bubuksha, bodhumichcha, bubhutsa, moktumichcha, mumuksha, jnatumichcha, jignyasa. In this manner, from san pratyabhaya, there is a very beautiful thing in Sanskrit. This desiderative, that you, so desire to know, desire to do something is very common. So that is how from one verb, this derivative verb, this is called. And so from the original root jna, you make another root there, or the stem, which is called jignyas. And that san pratyaya denotes what? Desire. San pratyaya vachyayaha ichchayaha. That vachyartha, the meaning of the san pratyaya there is ichcha. Ichchayaha jnanam karma. So jignyasa means desire to know. So there, what is the karma or the object of desire? Knowledge. Desire to know. Mumuksha means what? Desire to be liberated. Then what's the karma of the desire? To be liberated. Liberation. So bubhutsa means desire to know again. Or bubhuksha means desire to eat. What's the object of desire there? Eating. Here it is jignyasa, desire to know. What is the object of desire? Knowledge. So san pratyaya vachyayaha, that san pratyaya which implies, which brings about the meaning of the sense of ichcha, tasyaha jnanam karma. So the object of the desire is karma, then we call it desire to know. And desire to know what? Tasya jnanasya karma brahma. And desire to know Brahman. So Brahma jignyasa is desire to know Brahman. Jignyasa means desire to know, and Brahma jignyasa means desire to know Brahman. So the karma, the object of the ichcha is jnanam, and karma of the jnanam is Brahma. So tasya jnanasya Brahma karma. Karma means the vishaya. What's the desire? What's the object of knowledge? Brahman. And what's the object of desire? Knowledge. Tatra sakarmaka kriyayaha karma jnanam vina jnatum ashakyatvat. Now this ichcha and jnanam both are sakarmaka, having karma. Sakarmaka and akarmaka. There are two kinds of verbs in every language, as in Sanskrit also. And so sakarmaka ichcha, sleeping for example, to sleep is akarmaka. There is no question of sleep what. When what question cannot be asked, it is called akarmaka. Non-transitive. When you can ask the question what, then it is transitive verb. And when you can ask the question, when you cannot get the reply of the question what, then it is non-transitive verb. Transitive means sakarmaka, non-transitive means akarmaka. So he is sleeping. Now in that normally we always, so who when you ask the question, you get the agent. What when you ask the question, you get the object. And so how, and then with what, then you get the instrument, etc. Now he is sleeping, what? You cannot ask that question. So sleeping is what? Non-transitive verb. When you say he is eating, so what is he eating? Then you say he is eating rice. In that case, it is a transitive verb. So now desire to know what? So he desires to know what? Then desire becomes what? This is desires to know Brahman. So that desire becomes also the transitive verb, and knowledge also is, knowing also is transitive verb. So sakarmaka kriyayaha karma jnanam vina. Karma jnanam is vishaya jnanam. So karma there is vishaya, karma jnanam vina. So when there is a transitive verb, then you must first know what is the object of that verb. He is eating, immediately the question is what? Eating what? He is eating rice. So jnatum, that desire cannot be complete unless you know the object also. I mean, wherever there is a transitive verb or sakarmaka kriyapada, in that case, you must always know the object of that kriyapada. Then alone the sense is complete. He is eating. That sense of that statement will complete only when you know what he is eating. Then alone the sense will be complete. Otherwise, sense will not be complete. You will always wonder. When he is sleeping, then there is no question as to what, and the sense is complete in itself. That is a non-transitive verb. But when he is going, then immediate question is, where is he going? He told me this. What did he tell you? He is eating. What is he eating? So, karma jnanam vina jnatum ashakyatvat. Unless you know the object of that particular kriya, a sakarmaka kriya will not be known unless you know the object of that kriya. So, ichhayaha vishaya jnana janyatvacha pratham apekshatam karmayeva shasthya vachyam. Ichha also can be generated when? Only when you have the knowledge of an object. For example, you may wish to go to Australia. Why? When you heard something about Australia. So desire of an object can be generated only when there is knowledge of an object. Unless you know something, there cannot be desire for that. Thus there are millions of things that there are in the world but we don't know, and so there is no desire about them. If you go to United States and come to know millions of things, then all kinds of desires will be in your heart or in your mind. All kinds of gadgets you may see, all kinds of funny things and some amazing things also you may see. In which case, there will be desire pertaining to them. And the fellow is brought up in an Indian village will not have desire for so many things which desires a city boy has. And he will not have the desires that a New Yorker has, And he may not have desires that somebody else has. So desire always rests upon knowledge. The object of desire must necessarily be an object of knowledge. It says Vishaya Jnana Janyatvat. Only when a Vishaya Jnanam is there, that there is a desire to know. So when you heard something about Brahman, even that question will come subsequently. But even desire to know Brahman cannot be unless you have come to know Brahman in some ways. So that question will be discussed. So that is the reason why Swadhyaya Adhyetavya hai. When you study the Vedas or when you repeat the Vedas, then you hear such sentences as Brahma Vedapnoti Param, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and thus you have heard about Brahma. And you know that knower of Brahman attains the limitless. In which case there arises a desire to know, I want to know that Brahman. Ya Atma Apahata Papma. When you heard about Atma, and then you know that by the knowledge of that Atma one attains all the desires and one attains all the worlds, then you want to know what that Atma is. So the desire to know or desire for anything always arises. Desire to acquire something only arises when the knowledge of that object has taken place. Without that, desire cannot arise. So knowledge of Brahman must have taken place in some way, then alone Brahman can become the object of desire. And so whenever desire being a sakarmaka transitive verb, therefore first expectation in our mind is to know what is the object of desire. For any action, the first expectation in the mind is to know what is the object of action. As I said, he is eating. What is he eating? He is going. Where is he going? He is telling. What is this? He is saying something. What is he saying? Then why he is saying will be next one. Prayojanam will come next. But first will come what? That karma. And therefore, that Shashti should be Karmani Shashti, not Sheshe Shashti, because Ichha being a transitive verb, we want to know Ichha pertaining to what? Then pertaining to knowledge. Knowledge pertaining to what? Knowledge pertaining to Brahman. So, Ichhayaha Vishaya Jnana Janyatvacha Prathama Apekshitam Karma Eva Shashthyavachyam Na Shesha Ityartha. So what is apekshitam? First is, what is the object of desire? That is what we would want to know, and therefore that samasa must tell us what we immediately want to know and what we will want to know after 15 days. Whenever you are saying something, you must say that which the person immediately wants to know and what he may subsequently want to know. So what immediately is desire must be stated first. So ultimately you may want to know many other things. But then he is eating. Then he came and he sat down there, and then some Pada Puja was performed, and you give 15-minute description, but then you say, what is he eating? You tell me that, and then tell me rest, you see. So then he told me that, Then he came and he sat down and he had a glass of milk. But what did he tell you, So what happens is that first thing you want to know, then you tell us all the, then how did he happen to tell you? Then he came to my house. How did he come to your home? Then subsequent questions will be answered. But suppose you keep on giving the rest of the description without revealing what he said, then that akanksha will not be complete in your mind, and therefore you will think that that is not a proper way of communication. Swami Dayananda always says, if you want that your wife should lose her sleep for the night, suppose, then just you tell, while going to sleep, says, I have some very important thing I have to tell you. Then she says, what is it? I'll tell you in the morning. He says, no, please tell me now. No, I'll tell you in the morning. Nobody said it's something important. Yes, it's very important now. But then, why did you tell me? I'll tell you in the morning. This is not the time. But then why did you tell me, So having created the jignasa, if you don't say the object of jignasa, the person will not sleep for the whole night. They will keep on thinking, what is it? What it must be? Why is it important? What has happened, Whole night that late person could not sleep, cannot sleep. Because this is the question, this is the nature of mind, that whenever there is a transitive verb, then immediately it wants to know the object. You see how the mind works, and that is why Brahma Jignasa should be what? Jignasa pertaining to Brahman. Not Jignasa of Brahman, Jignasa of which Brahma is a Vishaya. Not Jignasa pertaining to Brahman and Jignasa of something else, of which Brahman becomes secondary. Brahma must be primary object of desire, and there can be secondary things. But how do I know Brahman? Study the scriptures. How can I study the scriptures? Go to the teacher. How can I go to the teacher? Develop the qualification or whatever. Then all these other things will have to be known. When it is said that one should deliberate upon Brahma, then questions will arise. How can I deliberate upon Brahman? With the help of scriptures. But how can I study the scriptures? With the help of Guru. How can I go to the Guru? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seva, etc. Then Pranipada, Pariprashna, Seva, all of these things. How can I serve him? Then, gain this particular qualification. And whatever it is. So then, all these secondary things associated with Brahman also will have to be known. That would be called the knowledge pertaining to the qualifications, pertaining to those things. But knowledge is mainly of the object of knowledge is Brahman. Then how to go to teacher? Guru Upasadanam, that you will have to find out. How to go to Swamiji? When is he available? And what's the manner in which to approach him? Things like that. Then somebody says, better carry some fruits and things with you. That's the manner to go. All right. And then what should I do after going there? You should go there and sit down quietly and not keep disturbing him. Then prostrate to him. Whatever they tell you, I don't know what they tell. But then the idea is that this is what all you will want to know. But all of this will follow later on. First is the karma. So, Shesha meaning pertaining to. So, then the person says, somebody said, it should be Shesha Shashti. It is the Jignasa pertaining to Brahma. In which case, Brahma comes later. Jignasa pertaining to Pramanam, Jignasa pertaining to Guru Upasadanam, Jignasa pertaining to Adhikari. All of the Jignasa, so of these Vishayas are there, and Brahma comes later. Says, no, Brahma is the something that is directly revealed here as the object of desire or object of knowledge, and then whatever you have to do in order to know, that will automatically follow. This is a whole line of arguments here. But since some commentators said Brahmana Jignasa is Shesha Shashti, therefore all the arguments are required to show how Brahmana is not, it is Karmani Shashti and not Shesha Shashti. This is all. Says Purnanandiya in the last 3 lines, Brahma Jignasa Nama Brahma Vishayakam Jnanam. Yad Jnanam Tad Vishayaka Ichha. Brahma Jignasa Nama Brahma Vishayakam Yad Jnanam. So that knowledge which has Brahma as a Vishaya. So Brahma is a Vishaya, Yasya Tad Brahma Vishayakam. So that knowledge of which Brahma is a Vishaya. Tad Vishayaka Ichha. And then the desire has that knowledge of Brahman as the object. तथा च सकर्मक क्रियारूपायाः परंपरया ब्रह्म विषयक जिज्ञासायाः प्रथमं जिज्ञास्य ब्रह्म रूप कर्म अपेक्षत्वात्. So the jignasa, which is a sakarmaka karma, means a transitive verb, and the jignasa means desire to know, and knowledge also is a transitive verb. So knowledge of Brahman. So Brahman becomes then paramparaya, then in sequence Brahma becomes the object of desire. Desire to know, but desire to know Brahman. So Brahman becomes indirectly the object of desire. So paramparaya Brahma vishayaka jignasayah प्रथमं जिज्ञास्य ब्रह्म रूप कर्म अपेक्षत्वात्. Since इच्छा is a sakarmaka karma and there is a desire always to know the karma, therefore prathama first apeksha is to know what the karma of the ichha is, and therefore karmani shashti eva parigrahya na shesha shashti iti bhavaha. And therefore we must take this brahmana jignasa as karmani shashti and not in shesha shashti. Then Purnananda continues, Prathamam Brahma Swarupa Jignasa Kimartha. See, why the question arose is not being explained here. Prathamam Brahma Swarupa Jignasa Kimartha. Why do you say that there is a desire to know the nature of Brahman? Brahma Pramana Jignasa Tad Lakshana Jignasa Vasyat. Brahma Jignasa can be desire to know the Brahma Pramanam. So, desire to know Brahman is desire to know the Pramanam, meaning the Upanishad. Or the Lakshana, what's the Lakshana or the characteristic of Brahman? So why not we say that in that case Sheshe Shashti? So that's what Tathasati Lakshana Pramanadaheva Karmatvam. That Brahma Lakshanam becomes the karma of Jignasa, or Brahma Pramanam becomes the karma of Jignasa. Brahmanastu Sambanditva Matram. In as much as Lakshana pertains to Brahma, or in as much as or Pramana pertains to Brahma, so Brahma becomes indirectly the object of knowledge, but directly what becomes the object of knowledge? This Lakshana, Pramana, etc. This is the Purvapaksha. Tathacha Brahma Sambandini Pramanadi Karmika Jignasa iti Brahmamshe Shesha Shashtim Sadhaitum Shankate. So the Purvapakshi says that we say that this is Jignasa pertaining to Brahma, but Jignasa of the Brahma Pramanam, or Jignasa of Brahma Lakshanam. What is Brahma Lakshanam? What is the characteristic of definition of Brahman? Or what is Brahma Pramanam? What is the means of knowing Brahman? So here he says the compound means that desire to know the means of knowledge of Brahman. Then since means of knowledge pertains to Brahma, so Brahma also is indirectly known. But then directly what is the object of desire? The Brahma Pramanam or Brahma Lakshanam. So Jignasa is Brahma. So Brahma Sambandini Pramanadi Karmika. Pramanadi becomes the karma of which, so Pramanadi karma yasyaha sa Pramanadi Karmika. Jignasa iti Brahmamse Shesha Shashtim. Brahma becomes the Shesha Shashti and Lakshana, Pramana, etc. becomes the Karma Shashti. This is the idea there of the Purvapakshi. Iti Shankare Nanu Pramanadikamidi says there, Ratna Prabha on the page 81, Nanu Pramanadikam Anyadeva Tat Karmastu. Pramanadikam Anyadeva. Anyadeva means what? Brahmana Anyadeva. Let us say that the object of Jignasa is not Brahman, but object of Jignasa is Pramana, etc. Other than Brahman. Tat Karmastu. Tat Karma means what? Jignasa Karmastu. Let the object of Jignasa be Pramana, etc. and not Brahman. Brahmatu Sheshitaya Sambadhyatam. Sheshita means Pradhanataya, Apradhanataya actually it should be. So Brahma to Sheshitaya. Then Brahma becomes what? Something that is related to Lakshana and Pramanam. In that way, let Brahma be understood. Ityartha, because Shesha means always. So Sheshitaya is so that which is related to this Vichara and Lakshana, etc. So here in case of the Jignasa it becomes Apradhanam. Although Sheshi means Pradhana, alright, but in case of Jignasa it becomes Apradhanam. Itatraha Jignasa, so Bhashyakara said Jignasya Antara Anirdesha Cha. So Bhashyakara says jignasya apekshatvat jignasayah. Since jignasa always apeksha of what is the object of jignasa? Jignasyantara nirdeshacha. And this sutra does not mention anything else as the jignasya vishaya. Brahma jignasa mentions Brahma directly as the object of jignasa and not something else. So we should not imagine that Brahma pramanam or Brahma lakshanam is the object of jignasa. Says Ratnaprabha, Shrutam karma tyaktva anyat ashrutam kalpayand pindamutsrujya karam ledhiti nyayam anusarati iti bhavaha. There are so many nice nyayas in Sanskrit, you know. Shrutam karma tyaktva, Brahma jignasa, that Brahma is presented as karma. Shruta means something that is directly stated by the Shruti or by the statement that Brahma is the karma of the jignasa. That you want to give up. He is saying to the Purvapakshi. Anyat ashrutam kalpayan. Anyat means what? Pramanam, lakshanam, which is not mentioned directly. That you want to imagine to be there. And what is mentioned directly, that you want to explain as secondary. It is comparable what? Pindamutsrujya karam ledhi. You are given a pinda. Meaning, you are given a laddu in your hand. That you give up and then you are licking your hand. Or honey is given in your hand. Pinda means actually a lump. A lump of something is given to you. A lump of sugar may be given to you. You give up that and you want to lick your hand. So when the sugar is given to you or honey is given to you, that is to be licked. But he says, no, honey is given to me all right. That I discard and I lick my hand. Similarly, Brahma is mentioned directly as the object of jignasa. That you want to give up. And then you want to say vichara or lakshana or something. That is what you want to take up as the object of jignasa. This is what it amounts to. And therefore, it doesn't make sense to interpret this Brahmana as Shesha Shashti. It should be Karma Shashti. Says the Purnanandya, Brahmana jignasa iti shabdad avilambena pratiyamanam brahmana karmatvam tyaktva avilambena pratiyamanam. Avilambena means shabdad. Immediately, Brahma jignasa, when somebody says, you will say, it must be jignasa of Brahman. Iti tyaktva shabdat apratiyamanam tatparyat vilambena pratiyamanam. So that tatparya should be taken afterwards. Only when the word directly, that communication is not relevant, then alone you should go for tatparya, for something other than word. So shabdat apratiyamanam tatparyat vilambena pratiyamanam. Swamiji gave the illustration there, was talking about Sanskrit language. Some people came and said that Sanskrit must be made national language and Rashtra Bhasha, etc. People come in with this great enthusiasm, you know. So they don't know much Sanskrit anyway, but they have read some verses and things like that, and they think it's great language. It is, but making it public, language of people is a different matter altogether. But anyway, people become very enthused about Sanskrit language. That is okay. Swami also was saying something about Sanskrit language, that Vyakaranam, etc. becomes necessary. So the need to know Vyakaranam, I think in the first lecture, this point also came up. How one should learn these other Vedangas are necessary to learn along with Vedas. So, Lambakaranam Anaya, when somebody says, bring Lambakarana. Now if you do not know Vyakaranam, then you will bring a long, Lamba means long, and Karana means ear, long ear. So it's a Lambakaranam Anaya, bring long ear. In that case, you will search for a long ear, He says that is not what it means. If you don't know Vyakarana, then this is what you would interpret. Brahmakarana means, Lambakarana means what? So, Lambam Karanam Yasya Saha Lambakaranaha. Tam Lambakaranam. So, there is a person who is having long ears, And so, this is how the compound is Bahuvrihi instead of Tatpurusha. That Tatparya becomes important. So you must know what is Tatparya. Now the word meaning is right actually. If somebody understands a long ear, we cannot blame him. This was my exception to Swamiji's statement, by the way. But then the idea is, when you say Lambakaranam Anaya, then I would understand it as long ear, because Tatpurusha Samasa will always register first and then Bahuvrihi Samasa. But since a long ear, nobody can ask you to bring a long ear, and therefore since Vachyartha is not applicable directly, Vachyartha means this is Tatpar, this is Avilambena Pratiyamanam. What is immediately Pratiyamanam is what? Long ear. And since that doesn't make sense here, it is in this context, Therefore you interpret that samasa is bahuvrihi compound, that it must pertain to a person who has long ears. Now this is a unique thing about Sanskrit. This bahuvrihi compound is just is a wonder. But if you don't know grammar, of course, then you will not know that lambakaranam can also mean this person having long, like pitambaram. So pitambaram directly would only mean yellow cloth or yellow garment. But pitambara means pitamambaram yasya saha pitambara, the one wearing yellow garment. That becomes bahuvrihi samasam. But that is not accepted, or that as long as tatpurusha compound is applicable, so long your interpretation cannot be bahuvrihi. Because avilambena pratiyamanam must be taken first, and then tatparyat pratiyamanam. So avilambena pratiyamanam doesn't make sense, then tatparyat pratiyamanam will be accepted. Since lambakaranam doesn't make sense in sense of long ear, therefore you should take tatparya as a person having long ear. But here Brahma Jignasa, so Brahma becomes the object of Jignasa directly. So avilambena pratiyamanam is what Brahma is the object of desire. That you want to discard, and you want to accept some Brahma, some Lakshanam and Brahma Pramanam, etc., which you will know by Tatparya. If Brahmana is interpreted as Sheshe Shashti, then something they desire pertaining to Brahman. In which case, what pertains to Brahman is Brahma Pramanam and Brahma Lakshanam and all kinds of things, Brahma Adhikaritvam and whatnot. So that will require, that says, then Sambanditva Matram Kalpen, so Tatparyad Vilambena Prata, Tatparya comes later. Shabda is first, registers in your mind. When it doesn't make sense, then you look for Tatparya. So by Vilambena Pratiyamanam. So Tatparya is something that comes, sometimes Shabda and Tatparya is one, which is the best way of communicating. Only when Shabda and Tatparya, then it's a technical way of communicating and involves more intellectual understanding. So in Kavita also, if there is a Kavita or a composition where the word directly means what it says, then they don't think it's a great composition. Only when it means all in some roundabout way, when the meaning comes, then because you have to stretch your mind, and then so you would apply yourself to understand. So sometimes anyway, we also do that. We also say things which indirectly and not directly. So not only Lakshana Vritti is there, but Tatparya. Sometimes word also, then you have to search for the Tatparya of the speaker there. Saindhavam Anaya. So something pertaining to Sindhu. So the word means both horse as well as salt. Because Sindhu is a Pradesha. And that is why the beautiful horses were there. And Sindhu also means ocean. And what is made that ocean is Saindhavam, meaning the salt. Saindhavam Anaya. So this is an argument given by the Vedantins to Nayayikas, who say that every word carries the meaning with it. It is not necessarily, the context is also important. Somebody Saindhavam Anaya. Bring Saindhavam. In that case you have to know what is the person doing. He is eating his food. At that time he is Saindhavam Anaya. That case you don't bring a horse, you bring salt. Suppose he is preparing himself to go out, then he is Saindhavam Anaya. You don't bring salt, you bring horse there. So Tatparya becomes important, and not the word does not carry the meaning in itself. It is Tatparya that imparts also meaning to the word, where there are different possibilities of interpretations. Anyway, so Shabdat Apratiyamanam Tatparyad Vilambena Pratiyamanam Pramanadinam Karmatvam. He says you are imagining Pramana etc. as karma of this Brahma Jignasa. Brahmana Sambanditva Matram Chakalpayan, and you say that Brahma is indirectly associated and not directly the object. Sheshvadi Karastham Pindam Utsrujya Karam Ledhidi Nyayam Anusarate. So that Sheshvadi, the Purupaksh in this case, has this Nyaya. Tathaja Sheshashti Parigrahe Brahmana Pratita Karmatva Alabha Eva Dosha Iti Bhavaha. And so, even though you take Sheshashti, Brahman does become the object indirectly. Directly, the Pramanam etc. becomes the object of Jignasa, and Brahma becomes indirectly the object. And so, Sheshashti Parigrahe Brahmana Pratita Karmatva Alabha. That Brahma does not become primarily the object of Jignasa, that dosha is there when you interpret this as Sheshashti. If you interpret this as Karmani Shashti, then Brahma is directly understood as Karma of Jignasa. And that's the advantage of this interpretation. Therefore we say that it should be Karmani Shashti. but he's not through yet. He's not yet through. Well, anyway, we'll continue tomorrow then. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Omkarascha Shabdascha Dvavetau Brahmanah Pura Kantham Vitva Viniryatau Tasman Mangalika Vubhau. Om Atha Om Atha Om Atha. विषय विषयिणोः तमः प्रकाशवद्विरुद्ध स्वभावयोः इतरेतर भावानुपपत्तौ सिद्धाय तद्धर्माणामपि सुतराम् इतरेतर भावानुपपत्तिः इत्यतः अस्मत्प्रत्ययगोचरे विषयिणे चिदात्मके युष्मत्प्रत्ययगोचरस्य विषयस्य तद्धर्माणाञ्च अध्यासः तद्विपर्ययेण विषयिणः तद्धर्माणाञ्च विषये अध्यासः मिथ्येति भवितुं युक्तम् तथापि अन्योन्यस्मिन् अन्योन्यात्मकताम् अन्योन्यधर्मांश्च अध्यस्य इतरेतरा विवेकेन अत्यन्तविविक्तयोः धर्मधर्मिणोः मिथ्याज्ञाननिमित्तः सत्यानृते मिथुनीकृत्य अहमिदं ममेदमिति नैसर्गिकोऽयं लोकव्यवहारः वेदान्तमीमांसाशास्त्रस्य व्याचिख्यासितस्य इदमादिमं सूत्रम् अथातो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा। Page 80. ब्रह्म च वक्ष्यमाणलक्षणम् जन्माद्यस्य यतः इति अतः एव न ब्रह्म शब्दस्य जात्यादि अर्थान्तरमाशंकितव्यम् ब्रह्मणः इति कर्मणि षष्ठी न शेषे जिज्ञास्यापेक्षत्वात् जिज्ञासायाः जिज्ञास्यान्तरानिर्देशाच्च ब्रह्मणः जिज्ञासा ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा. So sixth case is accepted. Now this sixth case is in the sense of karma, in the sense of that what is referred to by the sixth case represents the karma or the object. So brahmana iti karmani shashti na sheshe, meaning it is jignasa which has karma or the vishaya. That karma means vishaya. So karmani shashti means brahma is that which is a vishaya or the subject matter of jignasa. Na sheshe, not that is just a general relationship, that it is jignasa pertaining to Brahma. No, jignasa of which Brahma is a Vishaya. There is a minor difference here. That what the Purva Pakshi is trying to say is that in fact there should be jignasa or deliberation upon pramanam. What is the means of knowledge of Brahma? Lakshanam, what is the Lakshana of Brahma? Adhikari, and so many other excess things that are associated with Brahman. And by way of inquiring into them, you also inquire into Brahman. And that is how this inquiry or deliberation pertains to Brahma, all right. But it directly pertains, the direct object of deliberation is Lakshana, Pramana, etc. And Brahma becomes Brahma Sambandhini, Pramanadi Karmika Jignasa. Brahma Jignasa is Brahman, so Pramanadi Karmika, where Lakshana, Pramana of Brahma are the direct Vishayas which relate to Brahman. That is the nature of this Jignasa. This is what the Purva Pakshi is trying to say. Bhashyakara says, no, Jignasya Apekshatva Jignasayaha. Jignasa being a Sakarma Karma, immediately there is a need to know what is the karma. And Brahma Jignasa, the karma of Jignasa is directly mentioned there, and therefore that is what it should be understood as. Jignasya Antara Anirdeshacha, and no other Jignasya, no other object of deliberation has been mentioned by the Sutrakara. And what is mentioned is Brahma, therefore Brahma should properly be the Vishaya or the object of inquiry, deliberation. Shrutam karma tyaktva anyat ashrutam kalpayan pindamutsrujya karam ledhiti nyayam anusarati bhavaha. So brahmanah jignasa iti shabdat avinambena pratimanam brahmanah karmatvam tyaktva. So when somebody says Brahma Jignasa, automatically the idea or the understanding that will register in our mind is that Brahma should properly be the direct object of inquiry or deliberation. Giving up that, so Shabdat Avilambena Pratiyamanam, what the words directly convey, giving up that. Shabdat Apratiyamanam Tatparyad Vilambena Pratiyamanam. That no, what is intended is not the Brahma as a karma. Brahma is something related to Jignasa, and what is intended there is Pramana, etc. So Lakshana Pramana. This is how you are taking the Tatparya, which is vilambena pratyamanam, which is something that occurs as a result of deliberation. Pramanadinam karmatvam brahmanah sambandhitvamatram chakalpayan, that pramanadi becomes a direct vishaya of this jignasa, and Brahma becomes something that is related to that. Sheshavadi karastham pindamutsrujya karam ledi nyayam. The Sheshavadi meaning one who insists that there should be Shesha Shashti and not Karmani Shashti, it amounts to giving up what is in your hand and trying to lick your hand ultimately. तथा च शेष षष्ठी परिग्रहे ब्रह्मणः प्रतीत कर्मत्व लाभः एव दोषः इति भावः. Even though what he says also ultimately will be okay, because Brahman does become the object of inquiry indirectly, paramparaya. But then, pratita karmatva alabha, Brahma becomes pratita karma, what is directly evident. Evidently Brahma becomes the object of inquiry. That gain or the benefit you will have to give up, and you will have to accept Brahma as an object of inquiry only indirectly. And that is the dosha in that particular paksha. But he has a reason why he is saying this. Says Ratnaprabha, page 81, in the fourth line, Gudha Abhisandhi Shankate. Gudha Abhisandhi. So one who has a certain hidden opinion or hidden opinion about it, Shankate. Gudha Abhisandhi Yasya Saha Gudha Abhisandhi. One who has this hidden opinion. So sometimes when we present arguments, apparently the argument may seem to mean something, but inwardly we have a different intention. Abhisandhi is intention. So one who has a hidden intention, with that you make an argument and then mislead the fellow as though. And when he in an innocent manner then refutes your argument, then you immediately mention that no, what you intend is something else. And this bring out what is intended by you. So here also, Gudha Abhisandhi, this Sheshavadi, has a certain hidden intention in projecting Brahmana as Shesha Shashti. Shankate, and therefore he presents here a doubt. Nanu iti. Says Purnanandiya Brahmashrita Ashesha Vichara Pratigna Rupa Phale Gudha Abhisandhi Ityartha. So he is trying to say that if you say that Brahma is the direct object of deliberation, then what happens to the Pramanam and Lakshana, etc.? They do not become object of inquiry. But on the other hand, when we say that Brahma Pramanam or Brahma Lakshanam is a direct object of inquiry, then Brahma does become indirectly the object of deliberation. Therefore, by accepting Shesha Shashti, you will be able to include the whole group of things, not merely Brahman, but all the things related to the inquiry about Brahman. Because unless you make an deliberation upon what is Pramanam for Brahman, Shastra Yonitvat, Shastra is a Pramanam. So Sutrakara does deliberate upon the Vishayas or the subject matters related to Brahman. So this Brahma Sutra is not merely a deliberation upon Brahman, but also all the various aspects related to Brahman. What is the Pramanam? Shastra Yonitvat. Shastra is the Pramanam for Brahman. And then who is Adhikari? Atha, so Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikari. And then also subsequently, what is the Phala? What is the Sadhanam? So Phala is Jivan Mukti. What is the Sadhanam? So Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasanam, and Upasana, then all other things also become the subject matter of inquiry. All of these are related to Brahman. So he says, that is why he says that what this Sutrakara means is that actually this Brahma Jignasa is Brahma Sambandhini Jignasa, meaning Jignasa or deliberation upon all these other topics or aspects, of which ultimately Brahma becomes indirectly the object of deliberation. And so by accepting Shesha Shashti, you have the benefit of including all these other aspects also as the objects of inquiry. Whereas if you take Karmani Shashti, in that case Brahma alone becomes the object of deliberation and all these other aspects do not become addressed. This is his idea, and that is why he is presenting this Shesha Shashti as the Paksha here. Says Brahmashrita Ashesha Vichara Pratignyaro Phale. Phala is what? Brahmashrita Ashesha Vichara. And in all the other aspects that are dependent upon Brahma, related to Brahma, Brahma Ashram, Brahma Sambandhi also, related to Brahma, Ashesha Vichara, that all vichara pertaining to all the aspects also will be done, and athado Brahma Jignasa is pratigna. And that pratigna also Sutrakara does, that we are going to now deliberate upon the everything related to Brahman, and that is thereby also deliberate upon Brahman. So this would be the result or phala of Shesha Shashti. That is the opinion he has in his mind, which he does not reveal right away. What he reveals is something else, but what is in his mind is something else. This is called Gudha Visandehi. से संबंधी सामान्य प्रोक्ते तत्सामर्थ्यात् कारक संबंध विशेषश्च अर्थतः अवगम्यते. When you say that Brahma is generally related to the object of the deliberation, then what is specifically related? Then Karaka means what is immediately the object of deliberation? All these questions will arise. And therefore you will be obliged to make deliberation upon Adhikari and upon Sadhanam, Phala, etc. Pramanam. Lakshana is Janmadhyasya, his Lakshanam. Then Shastra Unitvad becomes Pramanam. That's why Lakshana Pramana. So Lakshana Pramanabhyam Vastu Siddhi, they say that if you want to establish the nature of a thing, the Lakshana and Pramanam, definition and the means of knowledge, this must be clearly understood, in which case the nature of a thing becomes established. So Arthadapi Karaka Samarthyat Karaka Sambandha Visheshasya Arthataha Avagamyade Iti Etavada Sheshe Shashti Iti Yuktam. And so that's why we say that Shesha Shashti. तथा च ब्रह्म संबंधी जिज्ञासा यदि बोधेन ब्रह्म कर्म जिज्ञासा भी अर्थाद अवगम्यते तस्मात् ब्रह्मणः कर्मत्वलाभयते शेषवादि शंकते भावः. So when you say Brahma Sambandhini Jignasa or deliberation which relates to Brahman, ultimately will culminate into any deliberation on Brahman also, but will also include deliberation upon many other aspects related to Brahman, and that's the advantage of interpreting Brahmana as Shesha Shashti. This is the intention he has in his mind. So Nanu, then Bhashyakara says, Nanu Shesha Shashti Parigrahepi Brahmanah Jignasa Karmatvam na Virudhyate Sambandha Samanyasya Visheshanishtatva. Nanu, then the Sheshavadi says, Shesha Shashti Parigrahepi. Even if Brahmana, that sixth case, is accepted as Shesha Shashti, meaning Sambandha Samanyam, then it means that Brahma is generally the object of deliberation. Not specifically, but generally the object of deliberation. Brahmana Jignasa Karmatvam na Virudhyate. Understand that Karmani Shashti, or the sixth case in the sense of karma, is a particular case of Shesha Shashti. Shesha is Sambandha Samanyam, general Sambandha, of which karma is one of the Sambandhas. So when you take the general Sambandha, then automatically this particular Sambandha in sense of karma does ultimately become included. So Brahmana Jignasa Karmatvam na Virudhyate. That Brahma does become the Jignasa Karma. Jignasaya Karma meaning the Vishaya or the object of deliberation. Na Virudhyate. So what you want also is not here negated or not. In fact, we do have that benefit also. Sambandha Samanyasya Visheshanishtatvat. Because Sambandha Samanya Sambandha ultimately culminates into Vishesha. As Puratna Prabha explains, Shashti Sheshe, that's a Panini Sutra. Iti Vidhanat Shashtya Sambandhamatram Pratidamapi. So when Shashti Sheshe, when we say that the six cases in the sense of relationship in general, Sambandhamatram Pratidam, what it immediately seems to convey is a general relationship in general, and not a particular relationship in terms of karma and that which is of which that is object. But Vishesha Akanksha, somebody would have the Akanksha. What exactly is the relationship? Sakarmaka Kriya Sannidhanat Karmatve Parivasyati. And since Jignasa is a Sakarmaka Kriya or transitive verb, and since there is always a need to know what is the karma of that transitive verb, sakarma kriya sannidhanat. Since Brahma is enjoy the sannidhanam, that proximity with jignasa, which is a transitive verb, karmatve paryavasyati. Ultimately, that Shesha Shashti or relationship in general will culminate into a particular relationship of Brahma being the karma of jignasa. So that benefit you will get, and you will get the additional benefit of including all other related topics also. कर्मत्वे परिस मीन्स विषयत्वे पर्यवस्यति इत्यर्थः. विषय विषय भाव संबंधे पर्यवस्यति. Jignasa becomes Vishayi and Brahma becomes Vishaya. So that becomes a particular relationship. Vishaya Vishayi Bhava is a particular relationship which this Sambandh Shesha Shashti will culminate into. Says, so Purnananda explains that Yadyapi Shashti Sheshe, it is Sambandha Matre Shashti Vihita. Usually that sixth case is Vihita, is enjoined in that particular sutra in the sense of relationship in general. Tathapi vyavahara vishesham alambate. Even then, any vyavahara calls for a specific relationship. See, we cannot conduct vyavahara without a specific, without establishing a specific relationship. He is related to me, all right, but the manner in which he is related to me will determine how I deal with him or how I relate to him. Whether he is related as brother or father or son or friend or even a foe, that will determine what my vyavahara is. It is not adequate to know that there is relationship in general, but for the purpose of vyavahara, it is necessary to know what the specific relationship is, because that will determine my vyavahara with a person. So vyavahara vishesham alambate. Vyavahara always calls for a specific relationship. Bahavascha Vishesha Sambandhaha. Now between the two there can be different kinds of relationships. Vishay Vishayi, Guna Guni, and so many different relationships can be there. Swami Sevaka, and so on and so forth. So many relationships can be there between two. All these relationships are included in Shesha Shashti. So Guna and Guni also will enjoy sixth case, and Vishaya Vishayi also will enjoy sixth case. Swami Sevaka also can enjoy sixth case. A brother and one whose brother he is will also enjoy sixth case, and so forth. All the relationships can be indicated by sixth case. So that's the meaning of the Shesha. So Bhavahascha Vishesha Sambandhaha Tatra Anyatamo Vishesha Sambandha Pratipattavyah. Of so many relationships that are possible that can be indicated by the sixth case, it is necessary for us to establish a particular relationship. Anyatha vyavahara anupattehe. Otherwise, vyavahara cannot be carried out. He is related to you, but what way? It's necessary to know. The way I relate to my brother is different from the way I relate to my son, is different from the way I relate to my father. There can be a Purusha, all right. Somebody can call from the other end on the telephone and you may not recognize the voice. If I am related to you, then you must know in what way you are related. That will determine how I am going to talk to you. And so, anyatha vyavahara anupattehe tasmat sacha sambandha kaha. And therefore the immediate question arises. When sixth case is related, is mentioned there, sacha sambandha kaha. What is that specific relationship? It is vishesha jignasaya. That vishesha jignasa will occur. Sakarmaka ichha sannidhanat karmattvameva vishesha sambandho bhavati. And since Brahma is in proximity of that word jignasa or the root jignasa, verb jignasa, which is sakarmaka or transitive verb, therefore only properly Brahma that question ultimately will result into the answer that Brahma should become the Vishaya of jignasa. Meaning word Brahma and jignasa, they should enjoy Vishaya Vishayi Sambandha. This is how it will happen. So therefore, why don't you accept Shesha Shashti, which will include Karmani Shashti? And if you accept only Karmani Shashti, it will not include anything else. Therefore we are saying that Shesha Shashti is a proper, is a better interpretation. Brahmana Jignasa Karmatvam Shesha Shashti Pakshedu Na Viruddhyate Samudayartha. And therefore, even if you take the Shesha Shashti, Brahma ultimately does result into knowing Brahman as the Jignasa Karma or Jignasa Vishaya. So what is your objection to Shesha Shashti? This is what he is asking. So Vishesha Nishthatvad means Vishesha Paryavasanat. Ultimately, that Samanya Sambandha has to result into, culminate into Vishesha Sambandha for you to know what to do with Brahman now. Brahma Jignasa, all right, but in what way is Brahma related to Jignasa? That specific relationship is necessary to know, in which case, since Jignasa is Sakarmaka Kriyapada, therefore Brahma will ultimately be known as the karma or the Vishaya of Jignasa. Then Ratnaprabha says, Abhisandim Ajananniva Uttaramaha. As though Siddhanti is not understood what it's trying to arrive at. So what is he driving at? Abhisandim, he is driving at something. Sometimes these lawyers also in the court ask you leading questions. There is a Gudha Abhisandhi. When they ask you a certain question, he is driving you at something. And if you don't know and if you innocently answer, then you will be trapped. Sometimes they ask you to answer yes and no. Or they ask you leading questions and ask you to reply only in a certain format. And if innocently you keep on answering, ultimately he will drive you up to the wall so that you have nowhere to escape. Similarly, this is Abhisandhi. And so this Siddhanti also not knowing what the intention of the person is, as though not knowing. So Abhisandim Ajananna Iva. Ultimately his reply reveals ultimately that he knows exactly what this fellow is talking about. But what he says right now seems to make it appear that he doesn't know what this fellow is talking about. Abhisandim Ajanan Iva Uttaramaha, as though does not understand the intention of the Sheshavadi, and then he replies here. So it is not that you always have to directly answer the person. Sometimes you want to explore what is the nature of his Purvapaksha, sometimes. And then you answer in general, and then when it doesn't satisfy him, then general answer doesn't satisfy him, then he leads to the particular question that he has, because people ask you general questions. They don't want to reveal themselves, always. They want to keep their opinion or their own problem with themselves, and then if they can get an answer in general without your knowing what it is, then that would be better. So that they don't have to expose themselves or reveal themselves. And never, they'll ask you they'll make general statements, And then you might make a specific statement from which they may get their answer, and that's, or they may want a certain opinion from you about a given subject, and then they will generally mention something, and then you give your opinion, and that's how they will understand what this person has to say. So very often people are not always open, There are reasons for it. Now then, if you keep on therefore innocently or stupidly rather I should say, reveal yourself all the time, in which case it will happen that perhaps you will be exposed totally and the other person will be able to, keep his opinion to himself without revealing himself. And therefore it is not always necessary that you have to directly answer. Sometimes the question is answered by a question, So somebody says to Mullah, says, they say that you answer every question by a question, Says, do I? So sometimes it happens, that you answer a question by a question. You ask the question in order to let him explain his question properly or to understand his question. And only when you understand the intention, what is necessary is, it is not enough that we understand the words of a question or words of a statement. We must know the abhisandhi or the intention is necessary to know. And if as long as you don't know the intention of a person, the discussion is all in vain. Sometimes we discuss for hours together. Fairly good length of time without arriving at anything, because you don't understand what the purpose of that person is. And then you keep on answering. They ask you about Brahma and things like that, and you keep on giving them lectures, and they have no intention. He is only interested in perhaps his daughter's wedding or something, and he wants to arrive at, in some way he wants. So then people don't ask you directly that type of thing. They ask you all kinds of, what do you think, Swamiji, about Jyotish Shastra? They will say, And then what do you think of this and what do you think of that? And then he will want to know whether that matching of the Janmakshara, etc., he should, whether he should depend upon that or what, and things like that. But he won't tell you why he is asking the question. And then you will give a long big lecture on what is Jyotish Shastra and what is what, in which he is not at all interested. So you are wasting his time and he is wasting your time. That is what it amounts to. Therefore, when they ask you general questions, then you can ask them, you can lead them to make their question specific so that you will know where the shoe pinches, Otherwise, you will apply balm on the whole, all of the body, when it doesn't reveal where the pain is. Anyway, that's beside the point is that here also the Siddhanti doesn't, he also makes a statement. And that is how makes the other fellow reveal his intention. Unless he reveals his intention, you cannot really address his problem. It is not that here we are playing a game or anything, but sometimes you help that person. Sometimes people themselves do not know what they are how to frame their questions, or how to express themselves, or what exactly is bothering them, that they don't know sometimes. Then you have to explore, and then ultimately arrive at what exactly is pinching him, or make him frame his question properly. And then when you answer, then the person really gets his answer. Otherwise, he goes away after very learned exposition on your part, he goes away dissatisfied. Pata nahi ye to kuch jante nahi hai. And so, you have to understand the abhisandhi, understand. So they're all matters of communication. And what we are discussing here is communication. Why? Because Shastra is the pramanam. This Shabda Bodha is what we are talking about. Bodha, the knowledge that is generated as a result of Shabda. So, how to understand the Shabda? That is very important. So, how to understand what the Upanishad teaches us? This is the whole discussion pertaining to that. And all of these discussions, which may appear to be distractions, also have their contribution in as much as they reveal our process of thinking, our process of understanding. And unless we are clear, our intellect thinks clearly, we will not be able to understand the Tatparya or what is sought to be conveyed by the scriptures. So Shravanam is Tatparya Nirnaya. And Tatparya is what? You must know what is the intention or what is sought to be conveyed by the speaker. Where sometimes the words the Vachyartha may not be applicable. Sometimes Lakshyartha is required, sometimes some other meanings are required. In that case, you must know the Tatparya. Otherwise, words will not serve the purpose. Words have to reveal the Tatparya or the intention of the one who uses the words. And that will serve the purpose only when you understand intention. Then alone the communication is complete. So, Abhisandhim ajananyo uttaramaha evamapi. So, as though does not understand the Abhisandhi, gives a reply here. Says Bhashyakara, evamapi pratyaksham brahmanah karmatvam utsrujya samanyadvarena paroksham karmatvam kalpayatah vyartha prayasasya. Now he says that even if you accept Shesha Shashti, meaning Samanya Sambandha, since the mind always wants to know Vishesha Sambandha, that Samanya Sambandha ultimately will result into the Vishesha Sambandha, namely Vishaya Vishayi, and therefore by accepting Shesha Shashti, you are not sacrificing the Vishesha Sambandha of the nature of Vishaya Vishayi. Then why don't you accept Shesha Shashti? He says, why should we accept? Ultimately, if Shesha Shashti or the Samanya Sambandha has to culminate into Vishesha Sambandha, then why don't we directly accept Vishesha Sambandha of Karma, Vishaya Vishayi? That's what the Siddhanta says. Evamapi, even then, Evamapi means what? Karma labhepi. Even then, in the ultimate end, you do arrive at Brahma as the object of deliberation. Karma labhepi. Pratyaksham brahmanah karmatvam utsrujya. Pratyaksham kartrukarmanoho krutihi iti sutrena jignasa padasya abantatvena krudantasya yoge vihidam prathamapekshitam karmatvam tyaktva paroksham ashabdam kalpayatah ityartha. The idea is that paroksham karmanah brahmanah karmatvam utsrujya pratyaksham. That Brahma Jignasa, if you accept directly as Karmani Shashti, then right away you understand Brahma as the direct object of deliberation. Utsrujya, you are giving that up. And Samanya Dvarena, you are accepting Samanya Sambandha, Paroksham Karmatvam Kalpayatah. And ultimately, at the end you arrive at the Vishaya Sambandha. So vyartha prayasasya, what is the purpose? Ultimately, your prayasa, that samanya sambandha, and then you inquire what is specific sambandha, and since jignasa is sakarma kriyapada, and therefore Brahma must be the karma of that jignasa, and that is how Vishaya sambandha is that, and so you ultimately arrive at that Vishaya sambandha. So paroksham karmatvam kalpayatah. So you did not accept Brahma as pratyaksha karma, but then paroksha karma, means paroksha vishaya, vyartha prayasa syat. So what does this prayasa ultimately, what benefit does it give you? Your prayasa, all this exertion is in vain, because if you had directly accepted karmani shashti, then all this prayasa would not have been necessary. So pratyaksham, why do you say pratyaksham? He says kartru karmanoho krutihi. Iti sutrena, there is sutra, kartru karmanoho krutihi. Krut prayoge kartari karmani cha shashti vibhakti bhavati. The idea is the sixth case is affix is employed after a word in indicating, in denoting the agent and the object. Agent and the object means the kartru and the karma, and then when used along with a word ending with a krut affix. So jignasa is a krudanta. Ab antatvena, as we said, the original root is jna. From that the desiderated root is jignas. And to that you employ that pratyaya ab in order to make you first of all, and then ab in order to make it feminine, jignasa. So jignasa becomes what? Krudanta. Krut is anta, at which is called krudanta. So there is a whole class of affixes called krut pratyayas, and when those krut pratyayas applied, then the word is called krudanta, ending with krut pratyaya. So jignasa also ends with ab pratyaya, which is a krut pratyaya, and therefore jignasa also becomes krudanta. So jignasa padasya abantatvena krudantasya yoge, then brahma jignasa, then brahma is related brahmana jignasa. So wherever this jignasa happens to be krudanta, in that case, that sixth case applies in kartru karmanoho, in the sense of karta as well as karma. So the sixth case can relate to karta or it can relate to karma, either way. So therefore karta, since it cannot be, karma is a direct, what the Panini Sutra says is that Brahma should be the karma of jignasa or kartru of jignasa. Since Brahma cannot be the agent of jignasa, Brahma cannot perform jignasa, so Brahma becomes the object of jignasa. This is what we would understand from the grammatical construction of that itself. That's why Bhashyakara said pratyaksham. So pratyaksham brahmana karmatvam is evident from that very compound itself. Krudantasya yoge vihitam prathama apekshatam karmatvam tyaktva. Since jignasa is a krudanta, therefore Brahma would be understood as karma. Tyaktva paroksham ashabdam kalpayatah. And then you take the shesha shashti and then indirectly arrive at the karmatvam. So kalpayatah vyartha prayasa syat. All that exertion on your part is in vain, because ultimately you arrive at the same meaning as we are arriving at by directly accepting Brahma as the karma. यद्यपि ब्रह्मणः कर्मत्व अलाभः इति दूषणम् आर्थिक कर्मत्व उक्त्या परिहृतं, तथापि इच्छायाः प्रथम अपेक्षित कर्मकत्वेन ब्रह्मणः प्रथमं प्रतीति कर्मत्व अलाभ दोष. That's already discussed. Okay. Now says Ratnaprabha, Sheshavadi swa abhisandim udghātayati. Now that Sheshavadi reveals his intention. Navyarthayati says Bhashya. Navyarthah ब्रह्माश्रित अशेष विचार प्रतिज्ञानार्थत्वात् इति चेत् न व्यर्थः. He says no, our prayasa is not व्यर्थः. Why? ब्रह्माश्रित अशेष विचार प्रतिज्ञानार्थत्वात्. Now read Ratnaprabha. शेषषष्ठ्यां ब्रह्म संबंधी जिज्ञासा प्रतिज्ञाता भवति. What is the Purvavadi is saying is शेषषष्ठ्यां ब्रह्मण is शेषषष्ठी, then ब्रह्म संबंधिनी जिज्ञासा प्रतिज्ञाता भवति. अथातो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा, that is a pratigna. Then what is the pratigna? So Brahma Sambandhini Jignasa, Brahma Jignasa. Then this says that now then there is going to be a deliberation upon something related to Brahman. Tatrayani Brahmashritani Lakshana Pramana Yukti Jnana Sadhana Phalani Tesham Vicharaha Pratignato Bhavati. In that case, when we say that now we are going to commence a deliberation upon that which is related to Brahman, in which case everything related to Brahman, which is what? Lakshana. Lakshana means what's the characteristic of Brahman? That Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayanta, etc. And then Pramanam. What is the Pramanam? What's the valid means of knowledge of Brahma? Shastram, Shastra Yonitvat. Yukti, variety of yuktis. What is the Nyaya involved in there? Yukti. Then Jnana Sadhana Phala. What is the sadhanam for Jnanam? And what is the Phala? Various upasanas, etc. And what is the result ultimately? Or Shravana Manana Nidhyasanam, which is Jnana Sadhanam. And Phalam meaning Jivan Mukti or Videha or Krama Mukti, etc. So all of these are related to Brahma. So when we say deliberation upon that which is related to Brahma, it will include deliberation of all of these things. And that's a benefit. Tesham vicharaha pratignato bhavati. In which case, vichara for all of these also becomes included in our pratigna. Tad jignasayaha bhi brahma jnanarthatvena brahma sambanditva. Because it is in order to understand Brahma or deliberate upon Brahma, it is necessary to deliberate upon the Lakshana, Pramana, etc. All of these are related to Brahman because vichara upon this is necessary to do the vichara upon Brahman. So tad jignasa means tad vicharasyapi brahma jnanarthatvena. A deliberation upon Pramana, Lakshana, Pramana, etc. is necessary for Brahma Jnanam, and therefore they are all related to Brahma, and therefore the Brahma Jignasa, this particular sutra, will then include a pratigna, will be of the nature of pratigna upon a deliberation on all these various aspects related to the knowledge of Brahma. Karmani Shashthyam tu Brahma Karma Kaheva Vichara Pratignato Bhavati. If Brahmana is accepted as Karmani Shashti, in which case your pratigna will be what? Now deliberation upon Brahma. But how about deliberation upon Pramanam, Lakshana, then Jnana Sadhanam and Phalam? All of that doesn't get included. So in Karmani Shashti, you will lose all that benefit. In Shesha Shashti, you will gain all the benefit. So that was his Abhisandhi. Iti Abhisandhina Shesha Shashti iti uchyate. And therefore, one who had this kind of intention, he had said Shesha Shashti with this intention in mind. Ataha mat prayasaha na vyartha. He says na vyartha, meaning mat prayasaha na vyartha. Sheshavadi says, my effort is not in vain because it will have all this benefit. Brahma tat sambandhinam sarvesham vichara pratigyanam artha phalam yasya tattvat. Why Brahma shidashesha vichara pratigyanartatvat? That's being explained. Brahma ashrita, Brahma tat Brahma ashrita means what? Brahma sambandhi. Brahma ashrita ashesha vichara. Brahma tat sambandhinam ashesha means sarvesham vichara pratignyana, meaning what? Vichara pratigyanam artha phalam. Artha means phalam. So Brahma and everything related to Brahma, a deliberation upon all of them would become the object of pratigna. With all of that would be included in the pratigna, and so that's the artha, meaning phalam. So therefore this sutra will be able to convey much more. Now we are going to commence a deliberation upon everything related to Brahman. And so that being the benefit, we say that it should be Shesha Shashti. See, even Bhashyakara adopts all these Purva Pakshas in order to reveal ultimately what the sutra says. It is not that this discussion is merely to refute what somebody has said, but this discussion brings about many points which perhaps would not have been brought about otherwise. Therefore, you accept what somebody has said and then explore what's the intention of that, what he says, and also say what is the advantage of our method of presentation. You see? And that is, otherwise this discussion would not have happened. That you will say that the pratigna here is of deliberation upon Brahma, and in Brahma Sutra we find deliberation upon many things. Then that seems to be a distraction, unnecessary thing, which is not a part of pratigna. The first sutra is the nature of pratigna, or a proposition of what the whole text is going to contain. If the text is going to contain a deliberation upon Brahma, and you find deliberation over many other things, you will consider it to be a digression or a dosha. In the beginning also, whatever topic there is, that's a pratigna. So we are now going to discuss whatever it is, the crisis management, some such topic. And then you talk about all kinds of things about Rasgulla and things of that sort. Suppose, in which case you had proposed that you are going to discuss crisis management, and you are discussing all kinds of stuff which is not related to crisis, in which case you are not faithful to what you had proposed. You are wasting people's time. Most people may not have much to do with their time, and so it's all right, you can talk of whatever you want. But there may be some who may have some value for it, and therefore you cannot digress. And so, if the first sutra is of the nature of pratigna, in that case, the whole text should reveal what the first sutra reveals. Should relate to what the first sutra reveals. And if the first sutra only reveals a deliberation upon Brahma, then why are you deliberating upon things which are not direct, which are not Brahma, which may be related to Brahma, all right, but not Brahma itself? Why are you deliberating upon Jivan Mukti, or upon Krama Mukti, or upon Upasana, upon so many sentences? Why? So we say that when we say Brahma Sambandhini Jignasa, then all the topics also get included, and Brahma gets included by the way also. And therefore that's the benefit. So he says, and therefore Mat Prayasa Navyartha. That's how we understand the discipline, or what is the methodology of the sutra, etc., or methodology of any text. Whenever you now propose to write something, you must know what discipline is involved. Or when you even talk anything, why even the normal communication, let alone this communication. That is how our life should be. Unless there is some kind of a system and some discipline in our mind, we become just loose people. Just talk all kinds of things which are irrelevant or unnecessary. So no looseness. A loose person can never know. No scientist is loose, and nobody worthwhile will be a loose person. So if you want to become really people who are deliberating upon important and serious things, not that seriousness means you have to have a long face, but seriousness means we must be mature people. So whatever we talk must be relevant, otherwise you waste a lot of your time in unnecessary, things that are not related. Here therefore, Brahma Jignasa, and therefore necessary to understand what exactly Sutrakara means, and in what way the first sutra relates to the rest of the text. Then what the Siddhanta has to say? Tvat prayasasya idam phalam na yuktam. He says, your whole prayasa of ultimately arriving at the Karmani Shasti, idam phalam na yuktam, is not proper in our opinion to say that your prayasa really brings about the result that you are claiming. Sutrena mukhatah pradhanasya brahmanah vichare pratignyate sati. Mukhatah means directly in words. Sutra in the word says Brahma Jignasa. So pradhanasya brahmanah vichare pratignyate sati. So Brahma becomes the pradhanam, becomes the principal subject matter which becomes the subject of deliberation, principal theme which becomes the subject of deliberation by the very words of the sutra. Tat upakaranam vicharasya arthika pratignyaya uditatvat. Then when Brahma becomes the pradhana vichara vishaya, in that case automatically how would you deliberate upon Brahma? That question will arise. And therefore it will be necessary for you to deliberate upon everything that is necessary in order to deliberate upon Brahman. And so it is better that way. So tat upakarananam, all of those things which become the upakari, meaning helpful in deliberation upon Brahma, vichara upakarananam vicharasya arthika pratignyaya uditatvat. So by the way, in the natural course, the other things also becomes necessary to deliberate upon other things. So Brahma becomes the principal object of Vishaya of deliberation, and things related to Brahman become